This is the breaking news at noontime on LALATE. The president got it done. Those $1,400 third stimulus checks are going out, and they're landing. $1,400 third stimulus checks continue to land in bank accounts, and Wednesday is the big day. But if the IRS tool doesn't work for you, how can this channel fix it? And I have all those details. Meantime, the markets react to the big job numbers. How are the markets seeing those job numbers for Friday? Is the Dow trading up or down? Also, breaking to today is the exciting news about fourth stimulus. The fourth stimulus and monthly stimulus checks become a big push from those Senate Democrats. I'll explain to you why you want that bill in the Senate as soon as possible. And breaking just minutes ago, big news from the President of the United States as he talks about the corporate tax rate. Is extra stimulus money really happening? And also, why is suddenly Biden pushing for higher corporate taxes, not just in the United States, but internationally? A series of statements issued by the president minutes ago. I'll be going over them. Also, I'll be cutting into a live feed of the White House happening right now. It's a big noontime recording, a lot of breaking news. Stay with me. And this is the start of Noontime LALATE. Good noontime, everybody. It's Noontime LA. The White House is getting a press briefing from its press secretary. I'll be cutting to that in just 1 second. But let me tell you what's happening before we cut away to that breaking development. $1,400 third stimulus checks are landing in bank accounts on Wednesday. And the IRS tool doesn't give you any information. I'll explain to you if you're getting the stimulus check on Wednesday. Also, I'll explain to you what's happening with those mail checks, what's happening with those direct deposit checks, whether you're on Direct Express card or not by Comerica. Also, if you're on SSI and SSDI, that's all covered in this recording. Also coming up is those reoccurring stimulus checks on the fourth stimulus and why you want to push as the purple power to get that bill to the Senate as soon as possible, rather not late. And then, minutes ago, the president spoke on the White House grounds about the corporate tax rate, not just in the United States. I have those shocking developing statements, but let's cut into what the press secretary is saying right now. I'll be back with you in just a second. Let's listen into her comments.
And our workers create jobs, and that's the proposal we put forward, and we look forward to having discussions about.
So one thing that Senator Blunt proposed was paying for it in user fees and other revenue streams that's not raising the corporate tax rate. And in this proposal that we have from the president, 8 years of spending, 15 years of taxes. So what happens, what is his defense to lawmakers who ask, well, what happens when he's not president and the Congress is different and if they repealed those tax changes?
Well, then I hope you'd be asking whoever's standing right here, who might be a Republican, if they rolled them back, that exact question at the time. But our view is that the corporate tax rate, which again is what we were proposing, it be at a rate that is still lower than it was in 2017 and lower than it was from between World War II and 2017. Our view is that corporations can pay more, not that it should be on the backs of consumers and the American people through user fees, which is exactly what it would be.
My last question is on what happened with Johnson & Johnson, that is this vaccine being produced at the Emergent plant in Baltimore, not too far away. Of course, we saw what happened last week and over the weekend where there was a mix-up in what would have amounted to 15 million one-shot doses, which is a lot for what we're trying to do. So what was the president's reaction to that?
To the news? Well, I would first say that
to the fact that we're not getting 15 million doses right now that could have been made for American people.
Well, it's not exactly what happened because we are.
Let me cut back. I can tell you what happened minutes before this press briefing. The President of the United States said on the White House grounds this morning when asked whether raising the corporate tax rate for fourth stimulus package is a good or bad idea. This was the president's comment obtained by LA just minutes ago. The president told the press there's no evidence of that. When he was asked, will raising the corporate tax rate turn American businesses to go overseas? He says, here you have 51 or 52 corporations of the Fortune 500 that haven't paid a single penny in taxes for 3 years. That was the president's statement obtained by LA just minutes ago. Meantime, Janet Yellen, your Treasury Secretary, also spoke minutes ago. She's trying to get corporations to pay the same tax rate internationally by appealing to other countries around the globe to raise their corporate tax rate, which is substantially lower than the United States. This is what Yellen's comment was. We're working with the G20 nations to agree on a global minimum corporate tax rate that could stop the race to the bottom. I'll explain all those details for you because these are absolutely breaking in the last few minutes. But here's where we are right now. Good noontime. A lot of breaking news. Boy, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe because this is one of those days where there's a lot of news hitting very quickly. And I'll explain the implications of those comments in just a second. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, the link's at the top of the chat and also in the pinned comment. That $1,400 third stimulus check went out on Friday. And on Saturday, the IRS tool updated itself. But some viewers in some of the comments this morning said the tool doesn't work for them. What should they know? This is what you should take away from this video. First, nearly 50% of the viewers, the tool will never work no matter how many fixes you do. No matter how many updates there are to the tool just doesn't work for some viewers. It's not because you're not getting a stimulus check, it's just because the tool doesn't recognize you. Not because it doesn't know you, because the tool doesn't work. What's going on? The tool is very finicky about the way you type in addresses. In the last 24 hours, a lot of viewers have had a lot of fixes for the situation, and their hacks have worked. For 80 to 90% of the viewers, we now have not one but two hacks for this IRS tool. First, Margie over the weekend on Saturday delivered this incredible hack. Type the address in all caps. Yes, type the address in all capital letters. It's worked for 80 to 90% of viewers to fix it from no results to a result. Then, AJ in the video on Mornings LA had a wonderful comment, which is if you have a recent statement for your benefits or your Social Security check or anything like that, or you can go into your Direct Express by Comerica card and it shows information about your address or any sort of portal where you see the way the IRS types your address. Get that actual physical paper, look at it, and type it verbatim. Here's an example. If your address is 100 Main Street, you may be typing that 100 space MIN space ST. And then you may try it STREET. Well, the IRS may actually have it on file for you as 100N space Main ST and nothing else. And while that may not be accurate, there may not be a north to it, that may be the way they have it on all your benefit statements. So look at the benefit statement and type it verbatim. That helped more viewers as well. That incredible help from AJ and one of the viewers this morning to another viewer. All right, this is what you need to know. If that tool does not have any information for you, the 50% of the viewers, the stimulus check is still coming. And when would you look for it and where would you look for it? In two places. First in the mail and also by direct deposit. On Friday, millions of American stimulus checks went out, as the president confirmed, with an April 7th date. He actually mentioned in a broadcast. And those stimulus checks will be available on April 7th. This is what you need to know about that. You wouldn't see anything pending until the actual date if you don't have pending status set up. So if the tool does not work for you, if you don't have any pending statuses set up for your depository accounts, then you would just see the funds available on the 7th. Also, you may see the checks in the mail on April 9th. Treasury has been saying since December of 2020 that 50% at least of the viewers of this channel, or a large or a very big segment, depending on which press conference it is, always gets the stimulus checks by the mail, even if you set it up for direct deposit. So watch the mail. And then, what else about that mail? The March 26th mail check is still coming today. There's nothing else to say about the March 26th mail check. It's late. It's coming. I had a handful of viewers in the comments on the videos earlier today say, it just showed up today. Tell viewers to stay positive, patient, and stay motivated. It's coming late. The April 2nd check, one viewer asked, is that on time? So far, it looks like it's on time, but give it some data because we don't have a lot of analytics from viewers on the 2nd to the 5th check. And then away we go to the April 9th check. Then another viewer in one of the comments video before said, no veteran is getting a stimulus check until late April. Let's just not do that, folks. Let's not do this no one, no how, no nothing, because 100% of the time it's incorrect. Veterans got stimulus checks in the first, second, and third round of this channel. And over the weekend, I had veterans send me their direct deposit alerts. They have a pending stimulus check for April 7th. So there is no group or entirety upon the board that isn't getting something at one particular time. Also, I've had a couple of viewers ask me, what if I'm missing a third stimulus check? Or what if there's a child missing? I'll be covering that later in the video. Stay with me. I have that coming up as well. Also coming up later in the video is that big question that people have been asking about, which is this one, that extra stimulus money. What is this extra stimulus money? Could you be getting more money in the mail from Treasury in the next few days? Yes, if you're among those people. I'll also be cutting over to what's going on with the president and this corporate tax rate for purposes of forced stimulus. It's a big issue. But let's cut back more to see what the president's press secretary is saying now in that press briefing.
But there'll be a competitive bidding process once the bill is signed into law, and we'll probably won't have more to say that specifically until then.
Actually, that's I think that's a really vague part of the plan. What do you mean by a competitive bidding process? Is this like, how do the top bridges or power grids get chosen? I mean, is it a formula? Do you envision a formula based on state population, or is a federal department deciding which is a more critical project than another?
We're not quite there yet. We just proposed this a couple of days ago. A competitive bidding process, which I think most Americans would support, would mean that states, entities have to apply for funding for rebuilding the infrastructure.
Part of the issue about forced stimulus that has been hitting over the recent days is the president has not want to come strong on data. And that lack of data has caused some confusion across the board as great job numbers were revealed on Friday. But the question is, what's going on for reoccurring stimulus checks? And more importantly, what specifically is in this forced stimulus package? Here is what you need to know, is that the president minutes ago was asked on the White House grounds what he would do under forced stimulus. He would raise corporate taxes. There's no evidence that raising corporate taxes is bad. 51 to 52 corporations in the United States haven't paid a single penny for taxes in 3 years. And meantime, the Treasury Secretary was asked about this as well. She said, we're working on G20 countries to raise the corporate tax rate so that there's not a race to the bottom. What does race to the bottom mean? Let me explain what's happening just in the last few minutes. This is breaking news. There's one thing when you're talking about a forced stimulus package. You're talking about what you and Americans would say. And when we're talking about the forced stimulus package, how it would be paid for. The president's proposing to raise corporate taxes from 21% to 28%. The press secretary continues to talk about what the corporate tax rate was in the 1920s or at the turn of the century, which is really not particularly relevant. Then she refers to what it was before the Trump administration. It was upwards higher than 30%. The Trump administration reduced it to 21%. The forced stimulus package proposes to raise it to 27% or 28%. Well, here's the problem, is that a lot of corporations may do what's called race for the bottom, transfer their jobs and their operations internationally somewhere else so that they don't have to pay the United States corporate tax rate of 28%. And that race to the bottom is now getting a new twist today in the last few minutes. As Janet Yellen says, she's going to try to urge other countries to raise their corporate tax rate so that there's a uniform corporate tax rate around the country, around the globe, so that no corporation tries to relocate to avoid paying a lower corporate tax rate. A lot of details and a lot of things happening. But let me cut back to what's happening in the next 24 to 48 hours with those stimulus checks. Those stimulus checks went out on Friday, and those stimulus checks are really en route. And those stimulus checks are formulating as the following. Here's what you need to know. $1,400 third stimulus checks went out on Friday, and those checks are landing right now. Those stimulus checks are pending for Wednesday. And if you are not a small bank customer, the funds will be available on Wednesday. If you show no pending deposit, if no show no alert, it will be in that account on Wednesday, unless you're in the mail. The mail checks are also coming this following week. We learned on Saturday the mail check delivery dates have an April 9th date. So those mail checks are coming at the end of this week. Deposits on Wednesday and mail checks on Friday. Now, here what you also need to know is that Wave 5 is getting less and less push in recent hours. We're now seeming to hear that a lot of things may have been fixed for Wave 4 and there may not be an actual full Wave 5. We'll be watching that throughout the scope of today's recordings. But along the way is the other question, which is third stimulus. There's a lot of money that's available under third stimulus: rent, food, homeowners assistance, SBA, business grants, refunds, $10,200 of unemployment refunds, also child care tax credit, hazard pay. All these big monies are about to land, and you need to pounce as a Purple Hawk to get it. In this video, I'll be going over how to get that money and why that money will not be around forever, and why that money is a lot more than a stimulus check. I'll be covering all those details and more in just a second. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on LALATE. It's a big day, and a lot of stuff is happening. Checks are landing, and I'm so excited for you. I saw some of the great questions and comments you had during that commercial break, so I'll be answering them in just a second. So make sure you like this video, 2, 3, 4,000 likes. Also, subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single penny across the board. And if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. This is what you need to know. Those $1,400 third stimulus checks are landing on Wednesday. Who are the people who would not land on Wednesday? If you have a representative payee, it's going to them. If you're dependent on someone's tax return, it's going to them. And if you're a mail check recipient, it's going to the mail, not in the direct deposit. What's also important to know is the following, that ultimately the IRS tool may never work for a viewer. And sometimes it doesn't work for 50% of the viewers. So don't worry, that stimulus check's coming. Stimulus check is coming. Here are 2 hacks the viewers have delivered to the viewers of this channel of that IRS tool. Number 1, put the address in all caps. And number 2, type the address exactly as it appears on your benefit statement. Let's listen in more about what the press secretary is saying now about forced stimulus.
To Caitlin's question on emergent.
Sure.
And that's about what does it mean now that J&J is sort of taking over that facility wholesale? What does that mean for the AstraZeneca vaccine? And will it affect their ability to manufacture here in the United States, or will that production domestically now shrink?
Well, first, we're working with AstraZeneca to immediately identify other facilities to continue their domestic manufacture of AstraZeneca drug substance, and several options are under consideration. As you know, it hasn't been approved, AstraZeneca, through the FDA yet. Johnson & Johnson has, hence the importance of Johnson & Johnson production continuing to be expedited.
And that is your press secretary live currently briefing the American people. On Friday, the jobs numbers were released, and those jobs numbers were surprising. Those jobs numbers were nothing like what we expected. And now Wall Street's reacting to the news of those jobs numbers. Let's see what Wall Street is saying currently. The numbers are really quite surprising across the board. Tech is rallying right today. Tech is up. Facebook is up 3%, $308. Alphabet is up 3.2%, nearly $2,000. Microsoft seeing one of its best days in months, up 2.6% at $248. This was after Friday released the highest job numbers that anyone's seen, 1 million jobs created in the month of March. It signaled that with 8 million jobs missing in this economy, we could be back to normal in 8 months. But could you be back to normal in 4 months? The numbers revealed that if we're back at 2 million jobs a month, that could be restoring of this economy in 4 months. Let me explain what's going on. On Friday, a series of analysts said the following. We think that the jobs numbers this month, April, will be even higher. 2 million jobs restored in the month of April. If that's true, 4 months away, the jobs will be restored. 2 into 8 is 4 months. And with 4 months, you want the stimulus package in the Senate as soon as possible. Why is this important? The senators, including Ron Wyden, want to give you those multiple stimulus checks, and they want to do it as soon as the bill lands in the Senate. Well, you want that bill to land in the Senate as soon as possible, not later. You want it landing right away. Those reoccurring stimulus checks would happen when the bill lands in the Senate and they do what's called the vote-a-rama. And how much will those stimulus checks look like? If they got the bill out the door and signed into law in June, well, when you get a stimulus check in July to December of $2,000, that would be $12,000. If it was July to December at $1,400, that would be $8,400. These are big numbers. These are huge numbers. And this is what you need to understand as the viewers of this channel. That time frame is looking at July. Here's the rub. There's a few key dates that you need to know as a viewer of this channel. And you have to be keen on these dates because they impact your financial stability. Number one, your $1,400 stimulus check is coming now, this week, April 7th, the start of April. Where's your next check coming from this federal government? Nothing is coming automatically after that. Viewers with me together will get the remainder of the items under the third stimulus package, which is rent, utilities, food, internet. Then some other viewers will also qualify for other items like children's money or business money. This is not automatic money. This is money you have to apply for. So if you spend that $1,400 stimulus check in the next week and you're wondering where the next stimulus check is, don't. There's not another stimulus check in the next 2 months. There isn't. The other money that's huge, $5,000 to $10,000, $15,000, is third stimulus money. You need to stay with me and get this money because when you use that $1,400 stimulus check and it's gone, you're going to want to get this other money. Don't be tracking a check under fourth stimulus because that is too far on the horizon. I don't want this to be 2020 all over again. I don't want people in June to say, I have a car payment. I can't make the car payment in June. When is that fourth stimulus package coming out? To which my answer is, did you get rent in May? No, I didn't get rent. Well, can I get it now? No, it's gone. I want you to get the money that's available now. Here's what's important to understand, is that if they get this bill, the fourth stimulus package, to the Senate in May or June, the stimulus checks would land in July. So we're a few months out from another round of stimulus checks landing in your bank account. This is the single biggest push of anything across the board to give you money. 21 of 50 Democratic senators want to give you this money. And one of the people in one of the comments during the commercial break said, what about that $200 of SSI and SSDI? What happened to that? I can't say this any more emphatically than I can say it right now. Don't chase the $200 a month for $2,400 when someone wants to give you $12,000. There's a group of people, 21 of 50 Democrats who control the Senate. They want to give you $12,000. None of them are talking about giving you $2,400. If they want to give you $12,000, you give them every support you can to get that $12,000 as quickly as possible because that $12,000 can get derailed. How? If they get the bill too late. You don't want them to get the bill when this economy rebounds. If this economy rebounds, no one will get anything from anyone. So you want that bill in the Senate as quickly as possible. Don't be chasing an item that's a fraction of the bigger dollar figure. The big dollar figure is $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 that these people want to give you. And that is the reoccurring stimulus checks. Those reoccurring stimulus checks have support from anyone from moderates to progressives. It's not just the progressives that want to give you a stimulus check. And there's a lot of other things that are about to happen in the next few days. Whether you are watching for everything that's about to land this week in third stimulus, in addition to the stimulus check, or whether it's EIDL and you're watching that EIDL go alive, whether it's the shuttered venue grant or more, that big money is about to hit and you don't want to miss any of it at any point. Let's listen to any final comments from the press secretary. And she's done. Thank you for joining us. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us as well. Here, as you go into the big day, the data that's at hand is the following. When you look at the money the president is talking about, he's talking about spending the following sums of money. $3,600, $3,000 for children? No, the president wants to spend this over 18 years. He wants to take the child tax credit and make it a lifetime benefit so that a newborn to age 18 is paid this money. Ultimately, this is a lot of money. And if that was ever done, that would be upwards of $64,000. Well, guess what? $64,000 is a lot less, or $65,000 is a lot more money than giving people reoccurring stimulus checks. When you look at the price tag for reoccurring stimulus checks, it's a fraction of that. Those reoccurring stimulus checks would amount to somewhere between $8,000 to $12,000. So with that, the push needs to get behind this money. For now, on the next few days, the big money you should be able to focus on and getting with this channel is the rent, the food, the homeowners assistance. The SBA is about to go live. The refunds, which I'll cover in 1 second, the child and hazard pay tax credit as well. Let me cover those refunds right now. On Friday, IRS announced that it's issuing refund checks in May. To who? They are for people who filed a 2020 tax return and paid taxes on their unemployment benefits. If you did, your first $10,200 that you paid taxes on will be refunded back to you in the month of May. So what if you've not filed your 2020 tax return and you're confused about this unemployment situation? What should you do? This is what you should take as guidance. If you did not take out for unemployment in 2020, when you got your weekly benefits, then go ahead and file your 2020 tax return now. But remember, the first $10,200 is tax-free if you made less than $150,000 in 2020. But if when you got your weekly benefits, you did take out for taxes every week in 2020, or at least some of the weeks, you need to wait before filing your tax return because Treasury is about to give guidance on how to fix that. Also, guidance is if you're on SSI or SSDI, for example, and Treasury doesn't know you have a child, and you want to get that $3,000 or $3,600 for that child, how do you fix that? Treasury is about to give the guidance about that, those refunds, that money for the children. Treasury is about to go live with that data as well. As you see, there's a lot of data they have to go with and fix across the board. And it's important to understand that that data will be fixed by Treasury in the next few days. Michael asked a question. What happens if someone is homebound and gets a paper check and cannot get to the bank to cash it since they're dependent on direct deposit? There is no solution to that. One of the solutions is a lot of banks have wonderful online banking apps, and those online banking apps are free. So, and also, if I don't know how Direct Express by Commerco works, but all banks have online banking apps where you can take a scan image of that check and deposit it remotely from your home, never leaving the comfort of your own dwelling. So it's a wonderful feature. Consider that feature as well. That was a great question. Really appreciate that. Need help to get that fourth stimulus in the Senate ASAP, said Harold Rose. Absolutely, Harold. Let's look at the data. The data is the following, that there's 3 factors at issue about getting that bill to the Senate as quickly as possible. The first is the most obvious, which is the sooner you get it to law, the sooner you get a check. Every month is another check. That's the obvious situation. The second situation, which is not so obvious, is that if you wait for Republican support and try to get that Republican support, they're not going to give you those monthly stimulus checks. In the video after this, I'll go over that Republican counterproposal. But the president should not be chasing that Republican counterproposal for our purposes. Why? Because no Republican's going to give you $12,000 of stimulus checks. They're not going to give you any stimulus checks. You want to do this bill by reconciliation. Finally, the last thing you need to know of why you want that stimulus check in the Senate as soon as possible is because the economy is booming. Job numbers are in, and the job numbers are strong. And if the job numbers continue to be strong, you don't want the bill in the Senate after the job numbers are too high for Democrats to get cold feet and say, no, we're not giving you monthly stimulus checks. The job numbers are too strong. Great questions across the board. Athena, I just checked the IRS website and it now shows my stimulus check pending for April 7th. Congratulations. What about the March 26th mail check, says Justin? They're landing. Viewers have gotten them today. 2 viewers in 2 of the videos earlier today said those March 26 checks showed up this morning. So they said, absolutely, stay positive and stay focused. It's really good. It is only that you need to stay positive because it absolutely is coming. And there we go. Someone also said I have a friend who took the Uber to the bank. Yeah, but online banking is really quite so wonderful now. Those apps are really quite wonderful. All you have to have is a phone and take an image with the front of the check and the back of the check, and away you go. Thank you for joining me on a big Noontime LALATE. I'll be back in 5 minutes from now as I jump into the live chat and answer some more of your great questions. Thank you for your great questions in this video. I really appreciate it. And hit that like button, as Sheena E just said. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and I see Athena in the room, and there's Michael, and there's Janet. There's a lot of Michaels in the room. There's Crayola and Marilyn and Harolyn and Carrie, and also Leanne McCoy, a longtime viewer. So stay informed, stay focused. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and I will be back in just 3 minutes from now as Noontime LA continues. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, and also save LA for more.